Hello and welcome to an OBS tutorial. This video is aimed at somebody that first time ever opening up OBS. They want to record their gameplay and they're not sure how to go about it using OBS, which is the program that most people use. This video will not show you how to install OBS because that's a pretty simple process. So let's just get right into it. So after OBS is installed, you're going to open it up and this will be the first screen that you see. We're just going to click on cancel and do everything ourselves. So let's just start by going to the bottom right and click on settings. The first tab it loads us up into is the general tab, but we're not going to do anything here. So on the left, click on the output tab. Since this video is aimed at absolute beginners to OBS, we are going to leave this output mode on the simple. And we're going to completely ignore everything in the streaming section. So in the recording section, we are going to change where we save our videos to here in the recording path. Just click browse and choose where you want to save your videos to. So the next thing we're going to do is change the recording quality. By the default, it's on same as stream, but since we're not even going to do streaming in this tutorial, we're obviously going to change it. So by default, there is 3 options. For this tutorial, we're going to pick high quality, but if you want higher quality video, you're probably going to pick one of the other 2, but it can be kind of hard to decide which one you want to pick, and the only way to really find out if your computer is capable of handling indistinguishable quality or lossless quality is to choose them and then run some tests and see how well they record. So we're just going to pick high quality. We're going to change MKV to MP4. That is going to give you this warning in the bottom, but all it's really saying is that if OBS crashes while you're recording a video, you're going to lose the video. Hopefully that's not a thing that happens very often, and there is other formats like MKV that will stop this, but there's some extra steps involved in getting those to work on most video editing software. The last thing we're going to change is the encoder. By default here, I see hardware NVENC, and you'll see that as well if you have a GeForce graphics card. In my opinion, it's the best option as the impact to your PC while you're recording is the lowest. AMD graphics cards have their own encoder. I've never tested it before, so I don't have any experience on speaking for it. And then X264, it will use your CPU, and typically this is the most demanding on your computer, and it will slow down your games a lot more than NVENC will. So for this tutorial, we're going to pick NVENC. Now with all that out of the way, we're going to go back to the left and we're going to click on the audio tab. So by default, these are going to say default, and the microphone is also going to say default. So if you're 100% sure that your microphone is set up, people hear you in Discord, people hear you when you're playing online games, you can just leave this on default. Same goes for your desktop audio, but sometimes your computer will randomly change what the default devices are. So I'm actually going to change these just so I'm 100% sure that they're always going to stay on what they are. And so my computer is system, and then my microphone is chat mic. And that's all we're going to do in this tab. So on the left, we're going to go to the video tab. By default, OBS scales your resolution to 720p, and this can make some games look a little blurry, but it's really not that big of a deal. If your computer is more on the low end side, you might want to leave this on 720. You want the quality to look better. You're going to change the 720 to 1080. And also by default, OBS keeps it on 30 FPS. And if you plan on recording FPS games or high action games, you're definitely going to want to change this to 60 FPS. Once again, this is going to take a bit of a bigger toll on your PC, and you're really not going to be 100% sure if your computer is going to be able to handle this until you do some test recordings. But with all of that done, we are done in all of the settings, so we're going to click on, in the bottom right, apply, and then OK. Now that OBS has been configured, we need to get your game to show up. So I'm going to load up Halo Infinite. With Halo Infinite loaded up, I'm going to go into the bottom left here where it says sources, and any of this area, I'm just going to right click, go to add, and then we're going to pick game capture. You can change this name to something specific if you want, or you can just leave it at game capture. Then click OK. And by default here, it says capture any full screen application. If you play all your games in full screen, then you might just want to leave it on here. I do have Halo playing in borderless window. And if you're looking to capture a specific game, like if you might have multiple things open that it might capture, you're going to want to change this to capture specific window. It'll bring up a new tab here called window. We're going to click on that. We're going to find Halo Infinite, and we're just going to click on it. It'll take a second here, and then it will load up Halo Infinite. So just click OK, unless you want to change any of these other settings on the left. And just like that, we're basically set up to start recording. We can just go down here to the bottom right and hit start recording. If you have more than one monitor, it's definitely best to move OBS over to a different monitor so you can monitor it while you're recording. And like I mentioned earlier, if your computer isn't powerful enough to do the recording and gaming at the same time, you'll definitely notice that in the recording, so you might have to change something, turn the resolution down, change the FPS. You'll just have to go back into the settings to where we change that stuff and just turn it into something different. So thanks for watching.